Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my show where I offer misguided advice about video games. Game of choice, Hearthstone. My name is Meerkat, and today I'm going to be talking about the Firebat Purpledrank Shaman Mech deck. How's that for a name? Firebat Purpledrank Shaman Mech deck. Mech Shaman deck, whatever. Firebat, for those of you who do not know, is a player who came in at #1 at the World Championship Hearthstone tournament in BlizzCon 2014 this year, or this past year, I guess I should say, back in November, and he did really well, swept the board in the final match. I believe it was 3-0, if I'm not mistaken. But in any case, here is a Shaman mech deck that he has crafted, and Purpledrank, I apologize, do not know who that is. Yes, I guess I'm not much of a noob. But in any case, let me go over the deck list here with you. Okay, you got 2 Rockbiter Weapons, 2 Cogmasters, 2 Crackles. Crackle, I don't know how I feel about this card. It has the potential for doing a crap ton of damage, and it can do at least 3 points of damage. So if you compare this to a Frostbolt, which a mage has for 2 mana crystal, yeah, it has the potential for doing as much, if not more, damage than a Frostbolt. The difference here, though, is that you're going to have an overload for the next turn. Plus, it is random, so you're not always going to get 4, 5, 6 points of damage. And the other thing to consider in this, too, is a Frostbolt can freeze an opponent, delaying it a turn if it's used against a beefy character. But in any case, it's in this deck, so we're going to go with it. You got 2 Annoy-o-trons, 2 Flametongue totems, 2 Mechwarpers, 2 Whirling Zap-o-matics. Now, this card is devious. You can really just surprise burst damage the hell out of your opponent with this card. If you play this card and then you have a Powermace and it gets buffed up to a 5/4 because this Death Rattle does 2/2 to a mech card, and now it's a 5/4, you put it next to a Flametongue totem, now it's a 7/4, and then you give it even just 1 Rockbiter Weapon, it is now a 10/4 with Wind Fury, and has a potential for doing 20 points of damage. If you did it twice, it would have 26 points of damage, and if you had another Flametongue totem, 30 points of damage. You kill your opponent in 1 turn with this Whirling Zap-o-matic. He is such a small minion, but packs a lot of punch, but he's also only got 2 hit points, so he's pretty fragile. And he's a high target card, too. It's a very high threat card, so a lot of your opponents are going to be going straight for him if they can. So keep that in mind. 2 Powermaces, great for early removal. 1 Lava Burst, great for a beefy removal, or if you want to finish off a game, you just need that few extra points. 2 Spider Tanks, 1 Tinkertown Technician, which is actually surprising to me. Whenever I play a mech kind of deck, I'm very used to having at least 2 Tinkertown Technicians, but in any case, this one only has 1. 1 Mechanical Yeti, 2 Piloted Shredders for some sticky cards, 1 Doom Hammer, and obviously you can pair the Doom Hammer up with Rockbiter Weapons for some very potential burst damage. 2 Azure Drakes for card draw, 2 Fire Elementals, 1 Black Knight, and 1 Dr. Boom. If I were to trade anything out, I would trade out the Black Knight for a big game hunter. This deck requires that you kill your opponent early on, and if you don't, it has a little bit of potential to be successful in the later parts of the game. But I find if you want to be successful with this type of deck in the later part of the game, you really have to focus on removing your opponent's minions off the table. So the way to play this deck, in my opinion, is you want to play as aggressive as you can early on, and then if you find that you're kind of stalling out and you're not quite able to get over that edge, able to get over that hump that you need to kill your opponent, then you're really going to have to focus on wiping his board, because your minions are not going to be that effective against mid-range to late-game type of decks. So, and especially when you're playing against like a mage or a druid where they've got a lot of board removal, you really want to focus on trying to get rid of everything off its table and try to overwhelm with the totems. At least I think, but I don't know. I'm not having the greatest success with this deck. It is an interesting deck, and it's fun when you win. Obviously, it's fun whenever you win, but we'll see how this match goes. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the Black Knight. The Crackle I don't feel is effective here. I'll hold on to the Powermace. Hopefully I'll get a Cogmaster and or Mechwarper. Did not get either one, but I did get a Whirling Zap-o-matic, which is nice. And there comes a Crackle back. So I don't know how I feel about the Black Knight. Like I said, I would possibly trade it out for a big game hunter. The problem with the Black Knight is I either don't have it when I need it, or I don't need it when I have it. I don't know if you guys are like me, but every single time that I play this deck, and I'm up against somebody who has a taunt card, I don't have it and I need it, or I get the Black Knight, but I don't need it because my opponent doesn't play any taunts. It's really, really weird. Okay, so right here, this is very interesting. He's got Northshire Cleric and a Zombie Chow. I could play the Whirling Zap-o-matic and instantly lose it. I could play the Crackle, or I could just totem. I think I'm just going to totem here and see what happens. I would rather just play a totem and then go ahead and do the Powermace now, and then the following turn, well, I'm sorry, go ahead and play the Powermace, get rid of one of his cards, and then the following turn, drop down a Whirling Zap-o-matic, and then hit again with the Powermace. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the Northshire Cleric now, bringing me down to 28. He'll do another 2 points of damage, bringing me down to 26, and then when I kill that off, it'll bring me back up to 30. Okay, so we have the potential for doing a lot of burst damage right now. Assuming he doesn't play anything else on the table, which it looks like he's not going to be able to do. Alright, so once my Powermace dies, I'm going to buff up the Whirling Zap-o-matic, and then I'm going to drop down the Flametongue totem. Actually, I lied. I'm going to play 2 of these guys, and I'm going to hope he doesn't have a way to get rid of it. Okay, let's see how this works. Like I said, this has the potential for doing a lot of burst damage, but these Whirling Zap-o-matics are very fragile. He could do a Shadow Word Death on this guy, and then that would pretty much be about all he can do. Yeah, it looks like he's definitely got to do the Shadow Word Death. He's got it in his hand. He's got to play it. And he's got 1 mana crystal left, so unless he has a Northshire Cleric or another Zombie Chow would actually be really helpful for him, but it looks like he does not actually have that. So, with that being the case, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Drop down a Flametongue totem, and then go ahead and do a Rockbiter Weapon. Now, the reason why I'm doing the Rockbiter Weapon now, as opposed to doing it later, is because I'm in a very vulnerable position. He could do a Holy Nova and get rid of these 2 cards, in which case I would have lost the potential for doing the extra burst damage with the Rockbiter Weapon. You want to try to do as much damage as you can when you can, and as early as you can. Try not to worry too much about getting yourself set up 3-4 turns down the road. If anything, in this type of deck, you really want to set yourself up either for this turn or maybe the next turn, but really don't plan on more than that, because this is kind of a very fly by the seat of your pants type of deck. Okay. Alright. So, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drop down the Mechanical Yeti. I'm going to pray to the RNG gods that we get at least 4 points of damage out of the Crackle. Okay, we got 6. Very good news. In fact, I actually misplayed that by quite a bit. I should have played the Mechanical Yeti over here. Oh boy. Whoops. Oh well. Yeah, that was a misplay. And he's definitely using that against me, because if I would have been able to do 6 points of damage, could have got rid of it, and then got rid of it, get rid of the slime taunt behind it with my Stone Claw totem, but whatever. Whatever. Okay, so let's go ahead and drop down in the Azure Drake. I'm going to drop down the Cogmaster. Trying to think. Do 3, potential of 5.
I wonder.
I think that's what I want to do. I'm not too worried about losing. So his Sludge Belcher could have attacked into that and dropped him down to 3 hit points. But I would rather go ahead and just do the 5 hit points here, and then follow it up with the Doom Hammer, get rid of the slime behind it. Yeah. Okay, well, looks like that's what we're going to be doing anyways. Okay. Alright, doing another Thought Steal. Definitely might have a Dr. Boom, Doomhammer. He's got a lot of things that he's got up his sleeve that he could be doing right now. And in fact, I think what I want to do here is I'm going to go ahead and attack into him like that. I'm going to play the Doomhammer. Go ahead and get rid of the slime now. Go ahead and drop down, Cogmaster, attack into him, drop down another totem, do another 2 points of damage, end the turn, and see what he's got in response. He could possibly do a Holy Nova, which would be too bad because I could have used Dr. Boom, potentially killing him off, but we'll see what he does here. The good news is, even though I'm overloaded for 2, next turn I can still drop down the Dr. Boom. Okay. Oh, the opponent is taking a little while to figure out what he wants to do. It's always a good sign. When your opponent takes a long time thinking about what it is that they want to do, it means that they don't have a whole lot of options, and the only options that they do have, they have to think about it, because if they don't think about it, it's very easy for them to make a mistake, and that means that you are most likely in a very good position winning the game. But of course, that's all hearsay speculation. And there he goes. He surrenders. He's got no options. He's got no options there, so it looks like he's just gonna have to hit the surrender button. And there you go. That is the Firebat Purpledrank Mech Shaman deck. I'll back out of here one more time, go into the collection, and show you again the deck list here. So, like I said, if there was anything that I would change out, it would be the Black Knight for a big game hunter. I'm actually almost half tempted to do that right now, but I'll end the video and give that a try. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have any suggestions, go ahead and let me know what they are. And until next time, my name is Meerkat.